on that day. When the third group of witnesses came and also said Reuven killed Shimon. Then comes a fourth pair of witnesses and said that Reuven killed Shimon on Sunday. Comes the second pair of witnesses and comes back to court and again says, you guys are with us. So what's happening here is that every pair of witnesses that comes to court, Yosef HaTzadik, every pair of witnesses that comes to court to say Reuven killed Shimon, the second pair of witnesses come and say, you guys are with us. Everyone, is that clear? And so there's a machlokas in the Mishnah. Do we believe the second pair of witnesses regarding all the subsequent, regarding pair number 3, pair number 4, if they say they were with them on that day? Correct? That is a question in the Gemara. Would we believe them? The Chachamim say you believe them. If they say about those witnesses that those witnesses are with us, the same way they said about the first pair of witnesses, same way the Torah believes when the second pair of witnesses say about the first pair, you guys are with us, the Torah says you believe the second pair of witnesses. So too, if the second pair of witnesses say about any other pairs of witnesses that come to court, that say that they saw the crime, the second pair of witnesses are believed. Comes Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, you can't believe the second pair of witnesses because we are concerned that the second pair of witnesses have some sort of conspiracy to protect the suspect. And therefore, if they come more than once, if they just say about the first pair of witnesses, you guys are with us, we believe them. But if they say about another pair of witnesses, that you guys are also with us, and then another pair of witnesses, then we don't believe them. And therefore, we cannot listen to therefore, if we don't believe them, what does it mean we don't believe them? We're not going to kill anybody, any witnesses based on the testimony of the second pair of witnesses. One of the because we're afraid the second pair of witnesses have some sort of agenda. Is that clear? That was the mission. Then we had yesterday, we're on Hayam and Beis. Then we had yesterday a machlokas of Yochanan, and Reish Lakish, or also, what was the machlokas of Yochanan and Reish Lakish? When a woman brought witnesses to court. And she comes to court and she says, and she brings these two witnesses, and then they were found out that these two witnesses, their testimonies did not jive with each other. Their testimonies weren't, witnesses come to court, and the court cross-examines each witness, and they found that these two witnesses, their testimony was not sync. Therefore, they did not accept these witnesses. Then she brings another pair of witnesses, and again, the court examines the witnesses, and they're saying that these witnesses are not honest in their testimony. They didn't see it properly. You can't accept them. Then she brings you hear what happened here, Ron? The woman brings first pair of witnesses, and the court checks them out, and their testimony wasn't in line, and therefore they did not accept their testimony. She brings a second pair of witnesses, and the court examines that, also wasn't in line. She brings a third pair of witnesses, and then the court checks them and seems like they're saying good testimony. Would we accept the third pair of witnesses? That's the question. So we have Machlokas. Welcome back, Nathan. Good to see you. Baruch haba. Great. So we have a machloket in the Mishnah. Do we accept the third pair of witnesses or not? So Reish Lakish was of the opinion you cannot accept the third pair of witnesses because Reish Lakish says this woman has a history. She was a repeated offender. She already brought the day is a better day when everyone's coming back to see Nathan. Holy Nathan. So she already was a repeated offender. She already brought two pairs of witnesses that their testimony wasn't online. So we're concerned that the third pair of witnesses is also some sort of.
But Rabbi.
Yes.
Whatever it is, you have to understand that those people who came to witness for her, okay, the first one, the second one, she can't control what they're going to say. Even if she pay, still they're going to say whatever they're going to say. So that's the question also. Did she pay for them, or she just asked for them to come and say whatever?
Only Hashem, only God knows. The mafia has. The mafia has people that work for them to testify too. You know what I'm saying? People sometimes, you're right. She can't control, but that's the question. Are we concerned that maybe she was able to, she somehow was able to pay them, perhaps made it worth it for them, and or do we say no? We're not gonna. Maybe we're gonna say that the first two pairs of witnesses were not privy, did not know the story, and the third pair, when she found the third pair of witnesses, and actually did know the story. She's desperate, and she's encouraging people to come to testify. So now when she brings the third pair of witnesses, maybe she found the third pair of witnesses that knows the story. Thank you so much. So that's the question here in the Gemara. So Rabbi Shlakish says, we smell a rat. He smells a rat because the lady already brought two pairs. It's the third pair of witnesses she's bringing, and the first two weren't straight. So they're afraid that maybe she's up to some sort of scheme, and she has a way of hiring witnesses, or so to speak. However, Rabbi Yochanan says, like you, Yosef, that all of Israel has she doesn't have power over everybody. Maybe now she finally found a good pair of witnesses, and maybe we should accept one rabbi, and maybe we should accept the third pair of witnesses. We are now on Hayam base. We are on 5b, and the bottom of 5b1, the last paragraph. Lema Reish Lakish. Now everyone already in the Gemara. Okay, we are in the. It's before the wide lines. It's about 6, 7 lines before the wide lines. Lema Reish Lakish Domak Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yochanan Domak Rabbanan. So the Gemara's question is: you have it, Nathan? When you have Amoraim, when you have rabbis later rabbis that argue, if the rabbi says a ruling, if he's holding like one opinion, he would say, I hold like a certain opinion. If a case comes in front of him, and if you're deciding this case because you want to take a side of a previous dispute, generally you would say, I'm following this opinion. I'm going with Rabbi Vadia, I'm going with Moshe Feinstein, or here you would say, I follow Rabbi Yochanan, or I follow Rabbi Yehuda, or I follow the Rabbanim. That's the machloket in the Mishnah. There's a machloket in the Mishnah. If you give your own ruling on this case, and you don't connect your ruling to the Mishnah, would seem to indicate that your ruling is independent of the Mishnah, and that your opinion is unanimous. But if your opinion is not a unanimous opinion, you should say, I'm following this opinion. And that's what the Gemara wants to know. The rabbis did not connect their opinion with an earlier dispute. But on surface, it seems that they are going with earlier opinions. So the Gemara wants to know, are we going to say that this opinion of the later rabbi is in sync with this rabbi, and the first opinion of the other rabbis with the other rabbi? And that's what the Gemara wants to know. Is each opinion a unanimous opinion, or each opinion is just following an early opinion? And the problem with that would be, especially with the opinion that follows Rabbi Yehuda, I mean, generally the law follows the Chachamim. It follows the majority opinion. That's the general rule. So it would not make sense that the later rabbi is going with the minor opinion, right? So let's say the later rabbi, will call him Reish Lakish. It seems that Reish Lakish's opinion lines up with Rabbi Yehuda, which would be Reish Lakish is saying not a unanimous opinion, and he's going against the general rule, which would not make sense. Because the general rule, you would follow the laws of the majority. So what happened? What's the case? The first pair of witnesses said Reuven killed Shimon. The second pair of witnesses said, you guys are with us, right? You claim Reuven killed Shimon on such and such a day, you with us. So now what? So now what do we say? We will punish the first pair of witnesses for framing Reuven. Right? That's the general rule. Now what happened afterwards? Another pair of witnesses come. What did the third? So far now we have now up to pair number 3. What did pair number 3 say? Pair number 1 said Reuven killed Shimon. Pair number 2 says you guys are with us. So pair number 2 knocks out the first pair, and we made them framers. He made them zomer. What did pair number 3 say, Aaron? In your case, you got to tell me what did pair number 3. If pair number 3 say you, pair number 2, you were with us, they could rule number 2. But pair number 3 does not say that. Pair number 3 says exactly what pair number 1 said. Reuven killed Shimon on Sunday. We saw it. And pair number 2 comes back to court and say to pair number 3, you guys say you witnessed to it. You guys are with us also on Sunday. We had a big party Sunday. Because pair number 4 says we saw Reuven kill Shimon. Pair number 2 comes back to court and say you guys are also with us on Sunday. So according to the Chachamim, all pair number 1, pair number 3, pair number 4 are going to get killed. They're all going to get killed. Not the suspect, the original suspect, because everybody, all the witnesses that claimed that Reuven killed Shimon, they were all found to be framers. They all claim Reuven killed Shimon, but we have the second pair of witnesses that say that the first pair were with us, the third pair with us, the fourth pair, they could not have seen the crime. So we've knocked out all the witnesses against Reuven. The only witnesses that we have here that we're accepting is the witnesses that say that you guys are with us. That's the case. So now the question is, Nathan, the question is, would you believe second pair of witnesses to say about the first pair, you guys with us, the third pair, you guys with us, the fourth pair? Every pair that comes to court, the second pair of witnesses, you guys are with us. Does it sound something fishy or not? So so Rabbi Yehuda says it sounds like the second pair of witnesses are playing a game here. They're trying to protect their suspect. And how do you save the suspect? Every time witnesses come and say that they saw it, you say you guys are with us. That's the issue here. Is that clear? So now this is the Gemara's question. Lema Reish Lakish, the Umbak Rabbi Yehuda. Let's say that Reish Lakish, who says that the woman, the Reish Lakish goes on, see Reish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan go on record on the case that's not in the Mishnah. They go on record on a case when the lady brought the witnesses. And the first pair were found not to be proper, the second pair was not, and the third was found to be good. Would we accept the third pair of witnesses? Do we have the case? We have 2 different cases. And the question is, do the cases line up exact? And whatever you hold here, you will hold there? Or is there a distinction in the cases? And that's what the Gemara is going to do right now. The case of Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish was the case of the woman. She brought 1 pair of witnesses, the court cross-examined and threw out those witnesses. She brought a second pair of witnesses, the court cross-examined those witnesses and threw them out. She brings a third pair of witnesses, and the court cross-examines them, and they find to be sound. They sound like they're on the same page. Will we accept those third pair of witnesses? There's no zomim in there. The girls, the lady's case, the case of Rabbi Yochanan, there's no zomim, there's no framers. Just they were thrown out of court, the first pair of witnesses, because their testimonies were not exact. He said maybe a black shirt, and he said a white shirt. Whatever, that would be a good enough reason why we can't accept you guys as witnesses that you saw this crime if you're describing you guys describing different things. So that is the case of Yochanan Reish Lakish, and the case of the Mishnah is the case of Zomer, of framers. When the second pair of witnesses come back and say the third pair was with us, the fourth pair with us, the fifth pair. So the Gemara wants to say, let us say, it would seem, what do you say? So Rabbi Chacham say we're going to kill all witnesses. That the second pair says that they were with us. The second pair makes all the witnesses into framers, and we're going to kill all those witnesses. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, we're not going to kill any of those witnesses. Because if the second pair of witnesses is up to something to protect the suspect, we can't believe that these witnesses are false. We can't make them into frameworks. We're not going to kill the witnesses, according to Rabbi Yehuda. So Yehuda says, if the first pair of witnesses came before the third pair came, if there's just one pair of witnesses say Reuven killed Shimon, and the second pair comes and say, you guys are with us, then we will kill the first pair. But if the third pair came and say Reuven killed Shimon, and the second pair comes back to court and says, you guys are with us, then we're not going to kill. Then we're not going to. Okay, as long as if the first pair of witnesses were not killed yet, we're not going to kill them. If they already killed, they already killed. Right? This is Safdie, correct? Now, so what does the Gemara say? Lema Reish Lakish. Let's say Reish Lakish's opinion regarding the Akiva with us. Let's say Reish Lakish's opinion regarding the woman, where Reish Lakish says you cannot trust these third pair of witnesses that the woman brought. Let us say he's the Amak Rabbi Yehuda. He's like Rabbi Yehuda who says you can't trust the second pair of witnesses when they say that the third pair were with us and the fourth pair with us. And Rabbi Yochanan, and let us say Rabbi Yochanan, the Amrik Rabbanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, we're going to accept the third pair of witnesses that the woman brings. It's like the Rabbanan that say that we accept the second pair of witnesses regarding all subsequent witnesses. So the Gemara says, and I told you, to me, the Gemara is really asking a question. The Gemara is asking a question that it would be very problematic for Reish Lakish, the late rabbi, to go with the opinion of Yehuda, because that he's going with, meaning to go only with the minority opinion, because the Rabbanan say differently. And also, even Rabbi Yochanan, if he is saying like the Rabbanan, he should have said, I go like the Rabbanan. So the Gemara says like this, Amalach Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish will be able to tell you, my opinion would be unanimous. Everybody would agree with me. Meaning what I said about this particular case is not that I'm following a lone opinion, an individual's opinion. My opinion, what my answer I'm giving was going to all the rabbis. All the great rabbis will accept my opinion. Why? What do you mean? The rabbis say, in the case of the Mishnah, that we'll accept that second pair of witnesses to say about all subsequent witnesses that they were with them. They can make them all into frameworks. But there, the leka kamahada, because we don't find somebody coming to court bringing false witnesses. Meaning, in the case of the Mishnah, what happened in the Mishnah? The second pair of witnesses come to court and they say the first pair with us. The third pair of witnesses come to court and the second come back to court and say you guys were also with us. The fourth pair of witnesses come to court, second pair comes back and say you guys are with us. We haven't found anything about the second pair of witnesses that say that they're lying. We do find they're saying these guys are with us, these guys are with us, but we didn't find anything wrong about they're trying to. We don't find that they did something actually wrong, that they actually lied, that they did something of lying. They're just coming back to court each time and saying these guys are with us. But in the case of Al-Hacha, but in the case over here, there is, and also there's another point the Gemara is saying. We do not know in the case when the second pair of witnesses come to court, we don't know that anyone's behind them. We don't know that anybody is trying to bring them, twisting their hand, trying to hire them, trying to get them to do something which might not be correct. They're coming to court on their own volition. But in the second case, when the lady is bringing the guys to court, she brought the first pair of witnesses and they were false. She brings the second pair of witnesses and they were false. So there's someone here that's being very active in doing something, trying to do something which was not truthful, we see she brought the first pair and they weren't truthful. The second pair, they weren't truthful. So we see there's a person here that's not truthful, that's really trying to make, to get some sort of thing passed through here. So therefore that gives us now our antennas are up and we say we can't trust this third pair of witnesses. Reish Lakish says the rabbis who say you can trust the second pair of witnesses, in that case of the framers, they will not accept this woman's third pair of witnesses. Because the rabbis will, the woman, so again, the woman here, but here the difference is the Gemara now suggests the difference. The case here is that the woman, there's someone here, we see somebody who seems to have an agenda. A woman who's trying to bring witnesses, and not only that she brought witnesses that were found to be false the first time, she brought witnesses that were found to be false the second time. So we have a history with this woman, a very negative history. We have no negative history with those second pair of witnesses. The second pair of witnesses, they come in on their own, and they're saying these guys are with us. They're saying about the third group, they're with us, the fourth group. But we have here in the second case, when the woman is trying to bring witnesses, so therefore in such a case, we are going to say we cannot accept their testimony if they're being brought by a woman who already was a repeated offender in bringing false witnesses. And so it seems, and therefore, that's what Reish Lakish is going to say. Mr. Safdie, is that clear? So, as Mr. Haber, he was away for Pesach, would say, there's three steps. There's case, there's law, and there's reason. So we have to know if two cases are different, two cases are different, it could be that it's not the fact that it could be that the cases are different, and therefore that makes the whole difference here. It's not the same. The two cases, like I said, apple and orange. One's an apple, one's an orange. You say a bird creates an apple, a bird creates an orange. But if you have an apple and you have a cantaloupe, they're not the same. The cantaloupe is hadama, an apple. So it's a different case. So sometimes a different case makes a different law. And sometimes a different case, the law remains the same. So here the Gemara wants to say, Reish Lakish wants to say that the different case here makes a different law. That the cases are different enough that there should be a different law in the different cases. That's what the Gemara says. Rabbi Yochanan Amalach. So that now, what is Rabbi Yochanan going to say to you? Ana de Amri Afil Rabbi Yehuda. We are on Hayam Beis. We are on the Art Scroll. Hayam Beis was probably 8B2. Right, we're on Hayam, right, B2. What'd you say? Nathan is back in full strength. Bezeh Hashem. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Yochanan Amalach. Rabbi Yochanan, everyone have it? Rabbi Yochanan Amalach. Rabbi Yochanan is going to tell you. We have 5B2, about 10 lines from the top. Rabbi Yochanan Amalach. Ana I da'amri afil Rabbi Yehuda. So here we see Rabbi Yochanan not only is saying that my opinion goes like the rabbis, which is the majority opinion, that he wants to even say that his opinion, good morning, Mr. Feldman, that his opinion even goes like Rabbi Yehuda. Why? Now, what did the Rabbi Yochanan say? Just to bring everyone back up to date. Rabbi Yochanan said about the case, Mr. Feldman, that we had yesterday about the woman who brought the first pair of witnesses and they were found not to be in sync, their testimony. The second pair of witnesses she brought also their testimonies. The court to cross-examine them and did not come. They weren't honest. The two guys didn't match. She brings a third pair of witnesses, and then the court cross-examines them, and it seems that they're saying that their testimonies seem in sync. They're on the same page. Will we accept the third pair of witnesses based on her history? So Rabbi Yochanan says we will accept. You can accept it. And now he's going to explain himself. Even though Rabbi Yehuda said in the Mishnah, when it came to Edom Zomimim, when the witnesses say you guys are with us, Yehuda says, if the second pair of witnesses say about the first guys, you guys are with us, and the second pair of witnesses come back to the corner and say about the third pair of witnesses, you guys are also with us, and the fourth pair of witnesses, you're also with us, Rabbi Yehuda says in the Mishnah that we're going to throw out, we're not going to trust those witnesses that say that you guys are with us and you guys are with us, and yet, because we suspect a rat, there's something fishy over here. With every pair of witnesses that comes, they witness say you guys are with us. Yet, Rabbi Yochanan will say in the case of the woman, Rabbi Yehuda would say, we will accept the witnesses. We will accept the third pair of witnesses of the woman. Even though Rabbi Yehuda is very nervous, very cautious, very concerned about that second pair of witnesses. If they say about the first pair, you guys are with us, say about the third pair, you're with us, we're not going to trust them. Yet we're going to trust this third pair of witnesses the woman brings. Now the question is why? Why would we trust the third pair of witnesses, even though the lady is a repeat offender, yet we're not going to trust the second pair of witnesses to say about the first pair you guys are with us and the third pair you with us. That's what the Gemara is going to get. We got two cases on the board. Want to see the board? Yeah, it's not a joke, right? Yeah. We have two cases on the board. Everyone got the cases? Case one of the Mishnah. Two guys say Reuven killed Shimon. Another pair of witnesses come say you guys are with us. They made the first pair into frameless. Comes the third pair of witnesses say we were there. Reuven did kill Shimon. Comes the second pair of witnesses back to court and say, guys, you say you still in that case. You guys are with us. Comes the fourth pair of witnesses. Reuven killed Shimon. Comes back to the second pair of witnesses. You guys are with us. Good morning. Good to see you. And Refuah Shalema. We say Refuah Shalema, complete. And also been Heira, very, very soon. So we have, Mr. Shittu, we have two cases in the Gemara, in the Mishnah and the Gemara. Case number one we had was two witnesses come and say Reuven killed Shimon. And then the second pair of witnesses come and say, you guys are with us. And the Torah says we believe the second pair of witnesses. When the second pair of witnesses are saying about the character of the first pair, they say you guys, they're not arguing on the details of the case. They're just saying you guys are with us. But then the question is, if the second pair comes back to court and says about the third pair and the fourth pair that you guys were also with us, will we believe the second pair of witnesses? Again, do we have the case clear? Because in order to understand the Gemara, we have to first know the case. Because if we understand the case, then we can be able to understand the Gemara. Case number one was Reuven. Two witnesses come to court and say Reuven killed Shimon on Sunday. Another pair comes two other witnesses say, you guys say Reuven killed Shimon on Sunday. You guys were with us. You witnesses were with us. And therefore, the Torah says, we believe the second pair of witnesses to say that the first pair of witnesses were framing the guy. They become called Zomamim. What would we do at that point? We do to the first pair of witnesses what they wanted to do to the suspect. They were framing somebody. The Torah says you do to the witnesses if they wanted to kill Reuven, we're going to kill Reuven. They wanted to obligate Reuven money, we're going to give them, they have to pay the money to Reuven. Whatever they wanted to do in general, that's what we're going to do to them. That's the simple case of Zomamim. But the Mishnah says a new dimension. A third pair of witnesses walk into court. And they say exactly what the first pair of witnesses say. We saw Reuven kill Shimon. So now, we have witnesses we have a good pair of witnesses that nobody invalidated them. They say Reuven killed Shimon. We would trust them now. We would trust the third pair of witnesses now. But the second pair of witnesses come back to court and they say, you know what? This third pair of witnesses who say Reuven killed Shimon, they were also with us. So now, what would you say? You would think you believe the second pair of witnesses. The same way they say the first pair of witnesses with us, they said the third pair of witnesses with us. So the question is, would we believe them or not? The Rabbanan say we'll believe them. The same way they say that the first pair of witnesses were with us, they said that the second pair of witnesses were with us. Rabbi Yehuda says no. We're afraid that the second pair of witnesses have an agenda. They want to protect the suspect. And therefore, they're saying anybody who's coming to court, they're going to say, these guys are with us. How do you throw out they have an idea. How can they throw out the witnesses? anybody who comes to court, they'll say, you guys were with us on that day. And therefore, Rabbi Yehuda says they smell something fishy, and therefore Rabbi Yehuda says you cannot accept the second pair of witnesses' testimony. Only if they would testify against the first pair. You hear that, Nathan? Then we say, okay, you believe them. They say that the first pair was with us. But if they say that the second pair was also with them, that smells fishy. That's what they're. So we have two opinions in the Mishnah. Will we accept the second pair of witnesses' testimony regarding the subsequent pairs to say they were also with them? Then we have the case of that's case one with two opinions. Then we have case two, Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish. A woman brings witnesses. First pair of witnesses she brings, the court cross-examines them, and the testimonies are not online. So the court throws out the witnesses. She brings a second pair of witnesses, and they cross-examine them also. The witnesses are not on the same line. So there's enough, she's bringing bad witnesses. She brings a third pair of witnesses, and the court examines them, and it seems like they're on the same page. Will we accept the third pair of witnesses, or do we say maybe that they're fooling the court? Maybe, because maybe since they're being brought by this woman, who already has a history of a repeat offender that she brought false witnesses the first two times, will we say that we can't accept witnesses that this woman brings? So we had Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Yochanan says we're going to accept the third pair of witnesses, even though she who brought them was a repeat offender of bringing bad witnesses. We're going to accept that third pair of witnesses. And now the Gemara is going to explain Rabbi Yochanan's opinion. That's what we're up to, just to bring everyone up to date. That's what we're up to now in the Gemara. Rabbi Yochanan Amalach. Rabbi Yochanan says, my opinion will be a unanimous opinion. In this case, that I am giving my decision, even Rabbi Yehuda, who was cautious in the Mishnah, will not be so cautious and, so to speak, I don't want to use the word nervous, but nervous is not a good word. He would not be so cautious over here. Why? Ad kan lo kam Rabbi Yehuda Hassam, only over there in the Mishnah does Rabbi Yehuda say we cannot kill the third pair, fourth pair, and we're not going to trust the second pair of witnesses when they say about the subsequent witnesses, you guys are with us. You know why? Is the whole world with the second pair of witnesses? The second pair of witnesses says, you guys are with us. Comes the third pair of witnesses, comes in court, and then come back the second pair of witnesses, say, these guys are also with us. Comes the fourth pair of witnesses to court, and they make a testimony, and the second pair says, you guys are also with us. It sounds very sketchy, is that the right word? Sounds sketchy. So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda says, we can't accept those witnesses, because if the witnesses say that the Gemara says, is the whole world with them? Is the whole world, everybody's hanging out with the second pair of witnesses? That everybody's hanging out, that they can say about everybody that you guys are with us? That's what the Gemara says. Is the whole world situated by this second pair of witnesses? The second pair of witnesses has everybody, he hosts everybody, he hangs out with everybody that comes to court. They could say that all these guys are with us. It sounds funny. It sounds like maybe he's just trying to protect the suspect. So therefore, anybody who comes to court and say, Reuven killed Shimon. You know, if you want to protect Reuven, you just say, you come to court, you say, you guys are with us, and we're going to throw out the witnesses. So therefore, we won't accept the witnesses. But over here, but the case of the woman, when the woman brings the three pairs of witnesses, so the first pair, the first pair of witnesses she brought, maybe it's true that whatever she brought was true, but she had no witnesses on the deal. So she's looking for witnesses. She's trying to find witnesses. So the first pair of witnesses come, and they weren't they weren't acceptable. The second pair comes, they also weren't online. But she finally found proper witnesses. So if the court goes ahead and cross-examines the people, and also we had an idea before in the Gemara that she doesn't control the whole world to make everybody into liars, right? So therefore, a person themselves could be a liar. Not they could be, they're not allowed to be, but we can establish that this person is a liar. These witnesses are liars. But to say that all the witnesses that she's going to bring in the world are liars, that we don't say. So therefore, Rabbi Yochanan says that even Rabbi Yehuda will agree that we could accept the witnesses, the third pair of witnesses that she brought. These are, every Jew has a cheskat kashrut. Every Jew, a religious Jew, comes to court, you have a chazakah that you're an honest person, So therefore, they come into court. The third pair of witnesses came to court. The court cross-examined. They passed that examination, so we could accept that, even though the person who brought them had already a repeated offense of bringing not proper witnesses. It's possible she didn't find good witnesses. But sometimes sometimes you lend someone $1,000, right? You had no witnesses on the deal, right? And if the guy is a bad guy, by the way, that's the halacha. You always have to, everything has to be documented. No such thing. It has to be a paper trail. Everything has to be a document, a loan that have witnesses, or in a document, a start. And let's say you did not have it. You were just between you and your friend, right? And you did not have a document on it. But it's true. He borrowed $1,000 from me. So you might go ahead and try to tell someone, testify for me, because it's true. You're not lying. But the truth of the matter is they can't testify. But even if it's true, if you did not see it, you can't testify. So it could be that the woman didn't have proper witnesses. Excuse me, she was trying to get people to testify, but it was true. And she finally found 2 witnesses. And because she finally found 2 witnesses, now that's the third pair of witnesses. So we see that the court, it says that in the court the Shekhinah is in the court. The court needs a special help of Hashem to guide the judges. And therefore, the Torah refers to judges. It says Elohim lo sekalel. And who's Elohim? Elohim is the judges. So why does it refer to as Elohim lo sekalel? The Torah refers to them as a language of a God. So maybe the idea is you have to recognize when there's a court, there's a special divine presence in the court. So if you go ahead and you curse the court, you're really going against Hashem, and Hashem guides the court, and they should be able to make the right decisions. Have a great day, everybody. And thank you all for coming. Thank you, Mr. Feld, Mr. Shatru. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a great day, Yosef. Thank you for being here.
Thanks.